went wrong in Cardiff?
A tough one, really. At half time, genuinely now, at half time, if we'd have scored just before half time, and they're all lift spots and maybes, anyone that watched that first half and watched the way Wales trudged off the field at half time, I thought they were absolutely fucked. And I could not see a way that England could lose that game, the way the game was going.
As you tweeted at half time.
Yeah. And,
the arrogant English, it's just what they do.
I just tweeted, Tom Curry was ridiculous in that first half. And Wales didn't really have much direction. These one-out runners. And I just said they looked out on their feet, because they did. And I thought we'd win by 15 points, and it's come back to bite me in the arse.
Yes, it has.
Slightly. The different second half, so Farrell's kicking and Ben Youngs' kicking wasn't anywhere near as accurate as it has been in the first two games. Our line chase off the back of that, because of the pressure that they were put under from Wales, the kicks weren't as accurate. Our kick chase wasn't as effective. We're playing actually against a back three that are very good compared to France the week before or 2 weeks before.
How good was Liam Williams?
Shambles. Liam Williams was amazing. And we lost our cool. Kyle Sinclair had an amazing game. Let's just put that out there now, because he was fantastic as a rugby player in pretty much every facet of his game.
Was he taken off because he lost his head?
Yes, the guy's an idiot, and this is coming from Idiot Abroad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I am chief idiot abroad, and I'm looking at him like, mate, what? You're an idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he lost his head, and people go, "Oh no, don't say too much about it." And he only gave 1 or 2 penalties away.
It was the type of penalties he gave away.
But also, it's the emotion of the game. So, people like he stood his ground when he took out Anscombe, and the ref didn't give a penalty. I don't think he didn't.
He didn't. No.
He didn't stand his ground. He rammed his shoulder into him, and I've got no doubt whether Eddie Jones admits it or not. Eddie Jones hooked him off because he lost his head, and it was a massive momentum shift, because all the Welsh, when you're absolutely out on your feet in terms of energy levels or whatever, and someone from the opposition's doing that, which he was doing, then he grabs Alan Wynne-Jones by the throat, then he high tackles him.
Mate, he was slapping Rob Evans on the back in the ruck.
And doing all this. What it does is it pumps their tyres up, and emotional energy that the Welsh found from somewhere was off the back of going, look at this fucking mug here taking the piss out of us, in terms of how he's acting and going around. And as Jim says, he best be hard, because the way he's acting is he's the hardest bloke in the world. And Eddie had to hook him off because his head was gone. He was, he was a walking yellow card at that point. But what it did, and didn't necessarily, people look at the game and go, well, he didn't do anything that cost us the game, did he? Because he got taken off. Every bit of emotion that was into those moments that the Welsh boys saw, their tyres got pumped up hugely off the back of his mind explosion, really.
And then Bigger came on.
Who
was that man crush you had on last week? Northampton centre.
Hutchinson.
I was Googling him this week. Yeah, I get it. I see it.
Nice boy.
He's receded a bit, though, isn't he?
Yeah, I can help him out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. So that's smart. Dan Bigger. I love him. Just two peas in a pod. Me and him. I don't know why I put me and him together, but it just feels right. It just feels natural. You know, where someone's meant to be with the other person, but not like that, but kind of like that. That's how I feel with Dan Bigger.
Yeah, I mean,
when he comes on, I get excited. I feel funny, tingly, emotional.
I thought he was going to start, and obviously he got the knock the week before against Sale for Northampton. Started on the bench. Anscombe, pretty good player, but Bigger controls the game like Farrell does.
How hard is he though?
Bigger.
Yeah, he's hard.
He's not as hard as Farrell, I don't reckon, but he's hard.
Oh, I don't know.
Who'd win?
Matt, I don't know. But
Farrell win.
You reckon?
Win.
I don't know. Matt, he's a Northerner, so he might just.
Yeah, but Bigger coming on, he was the difference. So, and I tweeted about that as well. I said the difference was Sinclair's lack of discipline and Bigger coming on and changing the game.
But with Bigger, it's interesting when you hear other people talk about it, and I don't know whether I've seen it in the mainstream media, or maybe Andy Powell mentioned it, but everyone goes with Anscombe first. Everyone's like, I'd love to see Anscombe. Yeah, I think he just does it more for me ahead of Bigger.
I don't get it. I rate Bigger massively.
No, for me, he was the game changer in the way in which Wales wanted to play, and that clearance as well, and just to be able to come on, cold as anything, boom, have that as a touch finder.
Yeah.
Just controlled. I've always rated him.
But I mean, we all knew it was going to be a war against the Welsh. You watch the way the Welsh play, and it is a war. It's just a physical battle at the gain line. And you look at some of the stats that came out of the game. Billy makes 20 carries, I think the next best for England was 7 or something in the forwards, and we didn't have that foil of a Mako or something like that. We had Genge on the bench, who you needed some physicality. Eddie wouldn't use him. You had Robson
Yeah,
on the bench.
why didn't he bring Dan on?
I don't know. You got Robson on the bench, and
Just something a bit
Youngs
different.
was kicking poorly and didn't have his best game. Bring him on, make a change.
Did Gatland win the tactical battle then?
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I just think it was a close game. It literally could have gone either way, and it was different moments. Like Goody said, you know, the Sinclair incident was a turning point. You know, where he took Anscombe off the ball, you could see the emotion was slightly changing in Wales' favour. I think the longer that Wales were in the game, and the more their defence. How good was their defence? Do you know what I mean?
Well, England's was pretty good till the last.
Yeah.
You know, and I tweeted about it. Wales went through countless. They just won out rugby, and I'm like, well, England is just bashing them back and all this stuff, and then eventually, Bigger throws a long ball and it opens up their attack and England's defence out wide. When leading to Corey Hill's try, you know, wasn't the best, but both defences, and it was that's the war zone, isn't it? Both defences ran by, you know, obviously Sean Edwards' defence for Wales was brutal in around there, and we didn't put any 2 pass plays on. We didn't put much out the back, did we, in the second half? I can't remember Elliot Daly, Johnny May, or Jack Noel really having any possession in the second half. We didn't get into any of the wide channels that we've been successful with against France and Ireland, even with the secondary attacking kicking game, which we didn't get to in those wide channels. And listen, small margins, as Jim said, those little 1-2%ers make huge differences in tight games, and the big moments were won by Wales.